There we go.
Hi, and welcome to episode 11 of the Rime of the Frostmaiden stream. A bit of a change today. Tonight's episode is going to be shorter than our normal, just due to some scheduling conflicts. We will only be running for about 2.5 hours, so going until 9:30. And then also we'll still be taking a very short break at 8. Which we might be a player short based off of some other issues going on. So, but we're still going to run. We're still going to play. We're still going to have fun. Well, I will at least. Excuse me.
Good for you.
When last we played, our heroes traveled from Bryn Shander to the Black Cabin. We started last session with them arriving at the Black Cabin, where they soon discovered that there was a spooky spiritual presence there. They ended up repairing a magical device called the Summer Star, but the process of which killed 2 PCs, outright killed them, and knocked 2 others unconscious. And Nahesa, yeah, they ended up being fine.
We got better.
Nahesa and Barry found their way to the border ethereal, where Mac, the former resident of the Black Cabin, was there as well. And then together the group figured out how to complete the Summer Star, and doing so caused Lathander to take pity and have mercy on their on their incinerated remains and then restore them to life.
Well,
everyone
got
got
the pity res.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone got the blessing of the Morning Lord, divine blessing, which is every day in 5 temp HP. And you guys also got an amulet of health. Which who picked up the amulet again? Who grabbed that?
Nahesa, I think, right?
Nahesa did. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So Nahesa now has a Constitution of 19, which is pretty awesome. From there, you guys went north into the tundra, heading towards Revel's End, where you came across the remains of a frozen wizard out in the middle of the tundra during a blizzard, and you approached it and realized that you were walking on the back of a large white dragon that was buried under the snow, who promptly rose up and confronted you all. It greeted you with its cold breath, which also then knocked 3 of you unconscious in one go. And from there, you had to bargain with the white dragon for your lives, which resulted in Bear losing 3 magic items, one of which was indeed Robo-Bear. So that'll be some time before before Bear is able to reform his companion. But then luckily you're able to bargain for your lives and give up a few magic items to the dragon, completing your journey to Revel's End. And that was where we finished last time. So I'm going to move us.
If I could describe last session in one word, it would be fair.
I thought you were going to say ow.
Yeah, it was fair. Hi, kitty.
I would describe it in much less kind terms.
I don't know what you're talking about. I had a lot of fun last session.
Yeah, listening to the recap, it doesn't look very favorable on you.
All right. Okay, so where is our artwork? There it is. So you guys are you approach the prison of Revel's End. And like I described it last time, it's a prison that's built in about like the shape of a star, I think it's a 6-pointed star. Yep. It has this huge cliff called the Windbreak that kind of cuts through the northern third of it, and then there's a large tower built in the center of it. You can see that it has the lift on the north side that brings supplies and prisoners down to the Sea of Moving Ice, where ships dock and that sort of thing. Currently, as you approach, you can see guard towers on the southern side of the Windbreak. And those, as you're getting closer, you can see that there are 3 guards posted on each tower. But those are the only individuals that you can actually see. The path leads you straight ahead into the southern section of Revel's End. So I will move us to a new map. Once I make sure that
How can this prison be? There's no one in this region.
I don't. Wait, did you say?
It's like, why build a prison?
Because they ship people here from all over the Sword Coast.
Really? That seems horribly wasteful.
This is like the Alcatraz of the Sword Coast.
Alcatraz was conveniently located.
Yeah.
in the
I guess
middle of
the
San
idea-
Francisco Bay.
I guess the idea of thinking, even if
In
you
the middle of
escape,
San
you'll
Francisco
probably
Bay,
die.
when San Francisco was.
Okay, so I'll move us to. Oops, I almost
want
put you to
to.
the black cabin again. Let's not do that. Let's send you to Revel's End. So
No,
you
that
guys-
place has
No.
been destroyed.
Yeah, the
That's
Black
true, I
Cabin no
forgot.
longer exists.
I forgot about that. That
Thanks
Nahesa,
to someone.
in a fit of spite and rage, shattered the posts holding the black cabin up and sent it plummeting down that 100-foot ravine. All right, so you guys are on the southern side of this map. You're up at the door essentially. This is the door, or there's two doors in front of you, but one of them looks like it's a large stone door, and then this one that's off to the left of your current position is a wooden door, and you can see signs of like animal, like dog feet going in and out of this door to the left.
It's a doggy door.
There's no way to see inside. There's no indication that anyone other than those guards you saw posted on the towers that anyone is here. So what are you guys doing?
Knock on the door, right?
I'm sorry. I was playing with my cat. I need to scroll down and see where we are. Okay.
Both in character and out of character, I
Yeah.
must say. Someone
I was
remind
gonna
me,
say, like,
what we're
MJ,
doing
say,
here again.
MJ saying that he's like that no one pays attention to him, and literally the first 2 seconds of the game, yeah.
You're at this prison floor again.
So you did miss the setup to
did,
this. Yeah, there was an agent of the Arcane Brotherhood, I believe it was called, who had been fomenting some dissent, or attempting to, trying to overthrow the speaker of Bryn Shander. So when we reported to her about finding the sacrifice that had turned into the Spotlight zombie, she said that the Arcane Brotherhood had also kind of been, stirring shit up. And so she had sentenced this guy to life in prison for basically
attempting to kill her,
disagreeing with her.
No,
But then she gave us
saying
a
she's
writ.
a shitty leader.
Yeah, then she gave us a writ, that we had her permission to go talk to him. So it bears her seal, but we also have a bunch of other stationery from her.
Do we know that?
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I guess I haven't brought it up.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
true.
assuming I have no clue. Not that I
Yeah.
object, but
So yeah, we could actually, if we wanted to come back for whatever reason with paperwork bearing other information, we could. But we've already started here.
Random prisoners.
So yeah, we're here to do that, and also Nildar, that dwarf, that said that the Dwerg are planning some something, some sort of assault.
A little something, something.
Yeah, a little something. And it's a little not because he's a dwarf, but because I don't know why.
I
it's
like the
because,
idea that we interrogated him and now we're halfway across Icewind Dale.
Yeah, so now
By the
we're here.
way, we
So
have more
we could follow up on that now that I have spells that let me read minds,
Yeah.
which could be good.
Wait, you have a spell that reads minds? I thought you just had detect thoughts.
Yeah, he's got the text box.
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you think
jeez.
that does?
All right, so Cayleigh knocks up. Thank you for
All right.
catching us up, Cayce. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So Cayleigh knocks on the door, and it, after a moment or two, it swings inward, open, and you see two armed guards. One of them who open the door, and then the other one a little further back. And the one that's standing closer is like, "All right, come on in out of the wind, and we'll discuss your purpose here."
Thank you.
thank you.
Candygram for Mongo?
Cayleigh, when you go in, there's a door to your east and a door to the north. And the one guy is holding the door open, expecting everyone to move up. He doesn't want to hold the door open too much longer, so. Bjarnkin and your
Bjarnkin.
dogs
Yeah, what do we do with the bear?
just hanging out.
The bear can hang out outside.
Okay. I say goodbye, Bjarnkin. Goodbye, Bjarnkin. We'll miss you.
As you guys come in, the one guard that's standing.
Nahesa's not in.
Yeah, sorry.
Nahesa's left behind.
Nope.
Gone forever.
The one guard that's to the north side here by Cayleigh, who knocked on the door, he looks at her and he's like, "All right, what's your business here?"
We'll present the papers and say we're here to question one of the prisoners held here.
Several
He
prisoners.
takes- And he takes the paperwork and he looks at it. Is that an in character correction that Nahesa made? Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
What was his name?
is that the
Is it
paperwork?
Orest? Is that no?
What? No.
What was the
that's
name of the?
Mirrors.
Of the prison?
REVEL'S.
The person with the Arcane Brotherhood dude.
Vaelish Gant. I put it in chat there for you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, so he takes the paperwork and he looks at it and he's like, "Wait here just a moment." And then he opens the door behind him and steps through. The door on the other side of the hallway, like when he opens it, you can see that it opens onto a 10-foot wide hallway that's at like a T-junction. So it extends north, west, and east from the current position. The one who then is left here, he kind of like looks at you all and then looks out to your dog sled and to Bjarnken. And he's like, "Do you want your animals in the stables while you're here?"
Yes.
Yes, if
Yes,
that's
please.
okay.
He steps out
Wow.
and he's like, "Don't worry." He's like, "We have. I'm sure your dogs will get along fine with ours." And then he steps out there and like grabs the sled with the dogs and starts to lead them. And he looks up at the polar bear and he's like, And he looks at you all. He's like, "I might request."
I just like to
One.
stick my head out and be like, "No eating the
I'll do
other
it.
dogs."
I'll go out and and like I basically have animal friendship. Like
Mhm.
I cast it every morning because it's not concentration.
Oh, sure.
So I just have me and Bjarnken are buddies,
Magically buddies.
magical buddies. Come here, magical buddy. And I'll just where do we go? Where did he? Oh,
Through
right
this
over
door
here.
right up
Back
here
here.
is the stables.
Yeah, and the
Yep.
5-foot door.
So Bjarnken squeezes through and then plops down in the corner.
Who's your good boy?
After another moment or two, the other guard comes back. He's like, "Very well." He's like, I'll lead you to our meeting room, and the warden will have a quick word with you before summoning the individuals you're having audience with."
All right.
And so then he opens up the door, and he's going to lead you guys through. Yep. So he goes north out that door, and then he's heading west. And because of the vision, it might get a little tricky, but also, as you guys are doing that, as he opens the door to your east opens up, and another guard is there. And he's kind of like motioning you all forward, like, "Go on." Like he's going to be pulling up the rear. So
Come on, guys.
Move your tokens.
I want to move the tokens for you. So, all right, there we go. Perfect. All right, and then he's gonna go all the way up this long hallway. The halls are cold stone. There are sconces that have flames in them. You don't smell any burning fuel when you go by them, which leads you to believe that they're magical flames. And the whole area is well lit. But otherwise, it's very featureless stone walls that he's leading you past until he comes to this door on the western side of this little hall here. And he opens it up, and you can see a table, 4 chairs set up. And then on this wall, there's a ladder leading up to a hatch in the ceiling. And then when you guys get there, one of the 2 guards breaks off and heads east from your position. Out into what looks to be, if you can see down there, a much larger room. But so he's like, "I apologize that we don't have any more chairs." He's like, "But if you have a seat, the warden will be here momentarily."
This place is big.
Bear's going to just stand in the corner and kind of observe.
Sure.
The ladder goes up past the ceiling, obviously, through a hatch or something.
Yep, it goes up to a hatch in the ceiling.
Can I peek through that?
The hatch is closed.
Yeah. So can I try and open
Can
that? or
I
peek through
open
it?
it?
If you,
There's
if
a
you
guard
go
in the room.
over and start to
Mhm.
climb the ladder, the guard's
Oh,
like,
okay. Wait. No, we do have a guard in here. With
yep,
us.
he is hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
That's
Robo
why
Bear
I'm
for a second
halfway
as
up the
well.
ladder.
Uh,
Oh, that's not where the bathroom is.
Okay, I'm just gonna make a quick change to this token. All right.
Giant white
After
dragon.
make it a little smaller so it can fit through the hallway there. All right. After a few moments, a human woman, in long robes and then also with kind of like furs stacked over that, comes walking through, and enters in and looks at all of you, and she sees how like a few of you are at the table, some of you are hanging out by the door and like on the walls. She just kind of looks all over, and she's like, "So, you're here on behalf of Speaker Shane, is that correct?" And she's like, "I'm sorry, who should I be addressing?"
I guess me, unless anyone else wants to lead this.
Do you want me to lead this?
Yeah, you want to
No, no.
Do you-
I guess.
We're a
do you want one of
collective.
us to?
As soon as
Rúna will
Leif
do it.
begins to like put his foot forward, I'm like, you can talk to me.
All right. So yeah, so she approaches the table across from Cayleigh, and she's like, "So you're here on behalf of Speaker Shane?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess this is more on the behalf of everyone in Icewind Dale, I think. But we were hoping to speak to Vaelish Gant, who we think might have some information about the seemingly never-ending darkness and cold that's really hit Icewind Dale hard.
And she's like, "Oh, she's like, I could have guessed that was who you're coming to speak to if Speaker Shane sent you." She's like, I was told you have and oh yeah, no, she takes out the documents that were given to her by the guard and she opens them up, looks them over, and then she's like, "What makes you think that Gant might provide you with answers?"
From what we were told, he was part of the Arcane Brotherhood, who might have a bit of knowings of the magic that's going on here, more so than other people, I guess. Sorry,
Mayor of
Fine.
I'm
Hicksville.
trying to think
And
what
we-
Cayleigh
and
would.
I'm
We have
pretty
reason,
sure she's not
reason to
just a-
suspect he may have come across an independent conspiracy that is simultaneously threatening Tentown.
Really? Come across that back when he was challenging Speaker Shane?
Presumably, he
Ah,
had
yes,
some sorts of power.
challenging.
Presumably, he had some sorts of power. It may, in fact, be a commonality between this other incident, or between multiple other incidents.
And then she looks at the guard behind her and she's like, 237. And he nods and walks out. And she's like, "Very well." She's like, I'm not one to deny an official," and she holds up the document. She's like, "Official request for questioning from a speaker." She's like, "I will be present during the interrogation. That's custom." And then she
Do the documents also say that she's prepared to reduce his sentence based on the response?
I think that was
That-
yeah.
Okay.
that
Mhm.
was made, apparent. And then after another few moments, the guard returns and in walks Vaelish Gant. Manacled, obviously. And the guard leads him in and sits him down in this chair. And she looks at him and she's like, "Well, Gant, you are these folks are here to talk to you." She's like, "They're gonna ask you some questions and you're gonna play nice." And then she moves over and stands in the corner and kind of like, she's like, "I don't know what questioning with 6 of you here looks like, but have at it."
All right. Thank you for. Thank you. I'm sorry, I don't know the the warden's name? Did she give one?
Yeah, she
Oh,
would have.
did she
She would have given her name. Warden Matra Marthanis.
Well, I will thank her and allow Gant to get seated and get comfortable, and then I guess start with the regular niceties, like get him some water or something like that, so that way at least he doesn't feel like he's getting roasted
Being
or
questioned
anything.
in a prison.
Yeah.
If Cayleigh says that, he kind of like snorts and he's like, "If you want to offer me something I can use," he's like, "Maybe see about." And he looks over at the warden. He's like, "I don't know, shortening my sentence here quite drastically." And the warden's like, "That's enough, Gant." He just kind of smiles. He's like, "I was a big deal in Luskin." He's like, if you get me out of here, I can hook you guys up." And she's like, "Gant."
Everyone's
You're
a big deal in Luskin.
in
Yeah.
Luskin, like what?
Rick says that, and Gant's face he just sours immediately.
You wouldn't know him. They met him at Niagara Falls.
I mean, the Arcane Brotherhood is pretty big, isn't it?
That's
It's
true.
got
Yeah.
a lot of power. So I don't know, maybe reading into that a little bit. Actually, does Cayleigh know to read into that a little bit? I'll roll an intelligence check, maybe.
What we? Oh,
14? 14, not bad. Maybe. Yes, she's thinking maybe if the Arcane Brotherhood really wanted him out, he would not be here.
Probably a fair assumption. It has been, like, you guys know, it's been a couple years since he's been incarcerated. Like, he's been here
Oh,
for
really? It was
2 to
that
3
long
years.
ago?
Oh,
Yep.
That was not
It-
made clear.
she made it,
Uh,
it sound like, she made it sound like that was
Yeah.
more in the last few months.
Oh, that was me misspeaking then, if that was the case.
I don't think you said one way or the other.
I mean,
think we just assumed.
he's
It
still
sounded
been
a
in
lot
here
more
a
that's
couple of
just how it
years.
sounded.
How long has the darkness been going on and the cold?
At this point, probably about 8-9 months.
So how would he know?
Yeah, now I'm confused. Well, I guess
'Cause
we'll ask.
He's a smarty
SMRT.
SMRT.
How'd you get arrested?
Got sloppy. He's like, group of out-of-towners came through 10 towns and started sniffing around the place, caught on to my operation. They got hired by the speakers. And, well, he's like, they proved resourceful. They found me out.
What was your operation?
He's like, well, we started with the, he kind of looks around with everybody. He's like, the Scrimshaw market started by putting myself and some folks that I hired into key positions, taking over the market, and then from there we got enough resources that that I could, well, set my sights on Speaker of Bryn Shander.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well, did it?
What was your first clue?
Cayleigh, is the Scrimshaw market so large that that is a reasonable avenue to accumulating power?
Well,
Or is
I mean,
that
maybe.
not? Maybe.
It's like one of the biggest industries here, so.
Yeah, that's money and power around here.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't think you came here to ask me about my little operation.
What do you think we came here to ask you about?
I don't know. He's like, my guess.
That's supposed to be intimidating.
He's like, my guess is that you're here to talk about the Arcane Brotherhood.
Who?
Don't do that. Roll me a deception check, Leif. Unless you want it to go like that.
I think it'd be really great if Leif is like jokingly like who, and Rúna's like, no, really, like who?
Oh!
Wow.
How's that feel? Huh.
I hope that one's not doing all of your talking.
No, really, could you this I don't actually know.
So you've got senile old men and children walking around with you. What is this about? Come on.
Well, this is about the never-ending night here. Hoping that you might be able to shed.
Don't you dare.
Yeah,
Some light.
I realized exactly what I was putting into there.
It's written for it too.
It's just that gif of like Bugs Bunny painting himself into a corner.
Oh, what have I done?
We were hoping you had some additional info that might help us out in this predicament.
I've been in prison.
Well, so you did mention the Arcane Brotherhood. What was the Arcane Brotherhood doing here?
Well, the Arcane Brotherhood has, they've long had an interest in Icewind Dale. But
Why?
Why? He's like, there's all sorts of things buried under the snow and ice up here.
Tell
I'm
us
sure
about
that
it.
you guys came across some of it.
Wait, what?
Anything in particular?
I want to roll an insight if he's like
Okay.
implying that he knows. Oh, my insight. Oh no, my insight's decent.
I think he's just talking about Chardalyn.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, you're not sure, Leif. He's like, the Arcane Brotherhood, back when I, Luskin, there were 4 members of the Brotherhood that were discussing an expedition up to the Dale. He's like, they hadn't left by the time that I was out of there. He's like, I came up here because he's like, well, 10 towns seem like easy pickings. No, obviously,
That
I
is
was
true.
wrong. Right. He's like, but he's like, the other expedition, the secondary one, they seem to be interested in some substance, something that could be found up here and only up here in Icewind Dale, something powerful, something that could be used.
I know, are you talking something metallic, or are you talking something power, or what?
I'm sorry, I didn't listen that closely. I don't know exactly what they were looking for.
Who are these people that would have been coming up here?
You mean you came to me and you don't know them? Oh, that's interesting. There are 4 of them, as far as I know. There was Neril the White, one of the archmages at Luskin. Neril was the one who had organized the whole expedition and was going to choose an apprentice to be her sort of eyes and ears in Icewind Dale. She hadn't made that choice before I left. But the 3 that she had partnered with to join her were Avarice, a tiefling, Nas Lantamir, and Dazan.
Can you write those into the roll 20?
Yes. Yes, I can.
yeah. That was in character both ways.
You mentioned Neril the White.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a albino?
Wait,
I think you're thinking
what?
of Avarice. Neril the White. No.
What
Yeah,
was the
these
name
are
of
just
the
names.
names? Came across
It's
earlier?
Avarice.
It's
Avarice.
Avarice,
is
right.
the tiefling
Yeah, he's got a
yeah.
sleep
We don't
ration and
know.
a
We
cult.
don't know her though, right? Because we only know her name because of the token.
Yeah.
Is
Is that
that
true? We didn't get her name. I don't remember. Actually.
no.
If he says
no.
Avarice the Tiefling and he's talking about an arcane user up here, which is apparently quite rare, I'm gonna give myself the credit and say that I put 2 and 2 together.
Yes, I would
I'm-
imagine you guys are able to connect the dots.
I'm 90% sure we did hear the name at one point when they were getting ready to
yeah,
leave.
they said like go
They
get
were leaving.
Avarice out of the dungeons or something.
That
yeah,
yeah.
I think that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Cayleigh may have forgotten about that, so now she knows.
And knowing's half the battle.
Knowing's half the battle. Yeah, so I guess we have actually seen Avarice, but you have descriptions of the other three?
You could make like a thumbnail-sized portrait of each of them.
If you have a PNG that you might be able to.
He's like, well, I doubt that Neryl made the trek up here to Icewind Dale. That seems far beneath her. The apprentice that she may have chosen. Last I know, she had an up and coming individual up and coming in the Arcane Brotherhood, but also up and coming in age. This old lady was named
Named what?
Human Velen Harple. He's like, she's human, white hair. She's got a thing for necromancy. Probably something to do with her age. I don't know. Beyond that, Avarice is a tiefling, promising tiefling. She's got some skill. She's got some talent behind her.
Skill in what?
Albino. Evocation. She has almost a natural talent with it. And then Nas Lantamir, she's a nobody. She's...
Ouch.
I don't even know why she was among them.
Shots fired. Damn. You hear that, Ness? You're on what?
Zan?
Dazan. Now,
Zan?
he's a tricky one because he may not look it and he doesn't always act like it, but he is a red wizard of Thay. And he looks around at all of you and he's like, Thay?
Rúna,
One of the
just
red wizards?
Just not, yeah.
Cricket's chirping.
Yeah. Out of character, I know what that is. In character, duh.
Yeah. Cayleigh's probably the
The
thing.
door.
I feel like I would know in character,
would
but out of
definitely
character, I don't actually know much beyond the name.
Actually,
Nessa,
with my
if you want Nessa, if you want to
background
give me a history check.
Sure.
with my background of demon hunting and devil hunting, can I get a roll for that as well?
Double
Sure,
digits.
yeah. Yep, that's fine.
I think Rúna will lean into whoever she's nearby with, which I guess is
Oh.
Leif,
Mhm.
and say, I don't understand the point of this game. Am I supposed to memorize these?
God, I hope not.
Nahesa, you would know what you would know of the Red Wizards of Thay is an elitist group of arcane scholars and magicians who want to seize the arcane for themselves, and they want to deny access to the weave to anyone who is not a Red Wizard of Thay.
An elitist group
Bunch
of
of-
wizards.
A bunch of pricks.
Yeah. So a group of wizards.
And
Moving on.
they
That doesn't seem very profitable.
And then he's working with the Arcane Brotherhood. That is interesting, but Cayleigh doesn't know about that.
Does your little expedition have any involvement in the locals? You know,
Did
anyone who
mine?
might have insight in anything that might be interesting to your little operation?
When you ask that, Nahesa, you
Mhm.
you notice that the warden kind of shifts behind you, almost like paying closer attention to how Gant answers.
The
and
information
he's-
you've provided so far, I don't see how that's going to reduce your sentence. Presumably, they've already heard it. You know, I think if you have anything actually valuable to offer, you might do yourself a favor here.
I'll take a persuasion check.
Good. I've longed to hear those words. Yeah, there we go.
And he's like, the people that
Mhm.
people that were involved with me were people I hired here. He's like, trust me, they've all most of them fell to the out-of-towners previously. He's like, the ones that haven't, it's like, I don't know where they've gone to.
Well,
So, does he pick up on my own subtext, I guess? Like, does he get if I'm asking what I'm asking, I guess?
Well,
it
I
really
would
wasn't-
need you
yeah.
to be explicit in what you're asking then.
I'm asking
me.
if he had made contact with the Dwergar.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
He did not pick up on that.
Cool. Okay. Great.
So, Vaelish, did you have contact with the?
Huh? No. If he's not going to get it, then I'm guessing he didn't.
Right.
And also that he,
Mm.
doesn't seem to have a lot to offer. And see,
You should
unless we
detect
just are
fraud.
asking after the wrong, the wrong kinds of questions.
Or maybe we've got the wrong person, because clearly this guy doesn't really have anything worth reducing his sentence for.
Is that you say that in character?
Yeah,
Dave?
why not? Fuck it.
I think,
That's
yeah,
what
I
it
was
sounds
gonna
like
say, I
to
think
me.
he does.
And he's Gant is like, well, hang on. He's like, he's like, I've answered all your questions and I've answered them truthfully. He's like, if there's more that you need to ask it and I'll answer.
On the topic of your, do you know where they might hold out here in 10 Towns?
The other members of the Brotherhood?
Yeah.
Oh. No, he's like, if my guess is correct, then shortly after they completed their journey to the Dale, I would imagine that they all kind of went their separate ways, such is the case with members of the Arcane Brotherhood. He's like, you see, we agree, generally, they, kind of catches himself, he's like, they agree that the Arcane Brotherhood is something special, something that that not everyone can get into. But at the same time, they're also terribly paranoid of each other.
And do all of you worship Levistus? Rúna just drops that without any ceremony whatsoever.
And he's like, not to my knowledge. He's like, I certainly don't. He's like, and as far as if any I worked with did or not, it never came up. He's like, I can tell you one thing. Avarice, if she did come to the Dale, she would try and find a group, a collection of individuals who would be easily manipulated. People that she can steer towards her own aim.
Check.
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah. And then what would she do?
What would she do with them?
Mhm.
She would use them as her agents. She would reduce the amount of traveling that she would have to do and rely on their ability to gather information until she found exactly what she was looking for. She also travels with. She's like Avarice. You'd be able to see her from a mile away because she has 2 gargoyles that are never too far from her.
Did we see gargoyles?
We did.
Not
to
that
my
I
knowledge,
remember. No.
He's like,
So-
the only other one that would be easy to track down would be Dazan. Dazan is obsessed with his legacy, with extending his life in any way that he can.
That always goes well in all media.
He's not a necromancer, but he has conducted plenty of magical experiments in the past. He travels with an undead bodyguard, and he's like, the 2 of them would be searching for anything that they can to preserve Dazan's knowledge.
Okay.
Like a notebook.
Anything about the other 2?
Velen is a crazy old woman who likes to reanimate those less fortunate. He's like, when I came across her down along the Sword Coast, she had 3 reanimated goblins that were traveling with her. He's like, she thinks she's smart and manipulative like Avarice, but chances are she's probably on her own right now. And Nasa's probably died.
All right, cross that one off then.
Damn. Vicious.
Ouch.
I really want to meet Nas now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we see Nas,
Just
I'm
to see what's
just gonna
going
be
on
like,
here.
hey, you got called out.
So would you consider any of them to be worthwhile allies?
Huh? Allies of the Brotherhood. He's like, well, if any alliance is formed with any of them, trust me when I say that it is temporary. and that they will find an opportunity to terminate that alliance before you expect it to be terminated.
Okay.
He goes, but he's like, of course, that all hinges on whatever it is they're searching for up here in Icewind Dale. And like I said, I don't know where to point you in that direction. That's beyond me.
Okay. Well, back to you.
Hmm.
You mentioned these sites under the snow glaciers, buried. There we go, buried. Tell us more about that.
Like I said, that was all stuff that they were interested in with this second expedition, and that I didn't listen. I didn't pay attention to the details. I wasn't involved in it, and it wasn't worth my time. I had my own operation to prepare for.
Which was?
Become a speaker of one of the 10 towns.
He looks over at the warden. He's like, they know why I'm here, right? And she's like, they know.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah.
Sorry, I thought he mentioned that the buried sites were something he was looking into, but I guess I was mistaken.
Well, I'll let you make an insight check for me, Cayleigh.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You think that he's not being entirely truthful.
Okay. Well, I guess if that's all you have, I don't have any other questions.
Yeah, this is a bust.
Do you want us to pass on any information to your Brotherhood friends if we see them?
What?
And I look directly at the warden.
And he's like,
see her reaction.
She's staying observant. She's watching what happens.
I figure.
And Gant is like, friends, please. He's like, I may have held an illusion of hope that the Arcane Brotherhood would do something, apply some sort of pressure to get me out of here, but enough time has passed.
Why? You're just like scratching off Scrimshaw, like in 10 towns of all places.
He narrows his eyes at Leif. And he's like, this operation would have left me with more wealth than anything I could have gathered down in Luskan. He's like, sure, anybody can contend with the nobles of a big city like Luskan. He's like, but it takes someone with true ambition and true vision to see opportunity in an area that everyone else ignores.
Sorry.
I guess we're just normal people that don't see the opportunity up here, because right now it seems like you came up here and ended up in prison. Your friends came up here. They don't seem to have gained their immortality or power. The world seems to be going to hell up here. I guess we're without vision.
And what a pitiable state that is.
Don't you visualize 4 stone walls for the rest of your life?
Yeah, and maybe the company of Arl, because that's pretty much what's happening here. So get ready to freeze your butt off.
Warden, we're done here. We do have an
saying,
unofficial request for a interrogation, however.
Yeah, and I'll basically tell the warden it's obvious he doesn't want to share anything useful.
He's like, well, what? Hang on. He's like, I've answered every question that you've asked me, and I've answered truthfully. Like, you're going to put in a word for my reduced sentence.
For what? You told us nothing that we couldn't have heard from the speaker. You've literally cost us a trip. Why in the name of all the 10 towns would we expend any of those documents to get you a reduced sentence in any way?
What document?
The ones that we gave, the ones that we've got. I don't know about your phony ones.
Josh, I'm considering your question. I see it.
That's fine. No, it's not anything vital to right now. I don't think it'll change my responses to him.
He definitely, based on that insight check, you get the feeling that he believes that Icewind Dale is important. But you also believe that it's not for the reasons that he's saying you think that he really doesn't believe in the scrimshaw market and owning 10 towns and stuff like that. You don't think that that's really what
Not a
his
surprise, but
Yeah, sure.
you know, important.
Because that's stupid.
Well, I think have proven that this guy is pretty stupid. So, you know.
And he's like, all right. He's like, if you need something more for a good word with me, for reducing my sentence, you need something else. He's like, all right. He's like, I don't know for sure. He's like, but I can guess at to what those other Arcane Brotherhood members came up to Icewind Dale for.
Finally. Okay.
Cayce sits back there.
He's like, there's something in the Reghead Glacier. Something big, something powerful. He's like, the members of the Arcane Brotherhood have been poking around looking for it for a long time. He's like, and just before I left, there was rumor that they had found something, an artifact from an ancient empire. He's like, are any of you familiar with the Netheril Empire?
I don't
And
know.
that
Crickets
silence would be would be apropos. You guys have never heard of that before. He's like, the Netheril Empire is
real quick and like looks at everyone else and just like is like, I'm not the only one.
I will say, once he starts talking history, Bear immediately pulls out essentially a, you know, field notes notebook and starts taking notes.
And he's like, the Netheril, he's like, was an ancient society, thousands of years old at this point, that had magic beyond anything that we can even comprehend. He's like, there's rumor, and apparently some of my former colleagues have reason to believe it's more than a rumor, that one of their artifacts is buried under the Reghead Glacier. He's like, and they've come to try and extract it.
And what might this artifact do?
He's like, that I truly don't know. He's like, but anything, any remnant of the Netheril Empire would be worth, I can't even imagine how much to the Arcane Brotherhood and to anyone else who that is emblematic of that empire.
So what did you do to find it?
Why didn't you go after that instead of Scrimshaw?
He's like, I tried to set up a base of operations from which the rest of the Arcane Brotherhood could see a position and act from. He's like, I came up here before the previous expedition because I wanted to show the Arcane Brotherhood that I could set them up with a place from which they can conduct all the research they needed in Icewind Dale.
Well done.
They didn't seem to appreciate
I mean, you talk.
And your plan was to, rather than set up a place, was to take over as speaker of one of the 10 towns.
He's like, the people of 10 towns are, he's like, they're some of the most paranoid people when it comes to out-of-towners. He's like, if Arcane Brotherhood...
Start there? It's moronic.
So...
He's like, if...
So...
Go ahead.
So if the Netheril were so powerful and so advanced, what brought them down?
That's what Cayleigh was.
He's like, according to people of the Brotherhood who have researched this empire, it was a culture called the Rime. He's like, that's all that I know. He's like, trust me when I say that this wasn't something that I studied much of. He's like, I just saw that my superiors and my colleagues were interested in it, and I wanted to provide them with access to that.
And so who did you reach out to help once you were here? I know you didn't do all this on your own.
No. He's like, locals, people who knew the speakers but didn't like the way they did things, people who were disgruntled against the way that 10 Towns was being operated, other out-of-towners who came to the region from the Sword Coast. He's like, anyone that I could, anyone who was interested in entering the Scrimshaw market but found it to be too too difficult to get a foothold in.
So, did you have any leads before you were arrested as to any locations that you might wanted to have looked into?
It's like, specific locations, no. The Raghead Glacier is immense. He's like, I'm trying to find something in there. I don't even know how to start. He's like, all I know is that a few of the individuals that I hired in and around 10 towns spoke of a substance called Chardolin. I don't know what, and I don't know how, but I can feel that that stuff is connected somehow.
While this conversation's taking place, Rúna is walking around the perimeter of the room, just like dragging her fingers along the wall
Sure.
and like only half paying attention to what everyone is saying and looks a little zoned out.
Okay, so you mentioned Chardolin. What do you know of Chardolin?
He's like, I know it is a metal-like material, highly malleable, and I know that it can instill troubling thoughts in the minds of those who carry it for too long, unprotected. He's like, but those are just the stories that the people that I hired, the people of 10 towns, have told me. And I think there is where we will take our quick break. It's about 6 minutes after 8. So we will reconvene in about 10-15 minutes.
All right.
Sweet.
All right.
And we're back. Thank you for staying with us through that quick break. And right before we came back, Cayce had a very fun question that I want to make sure we got the discussion
just
live. So
what's our long-term expectation for our relationship with the prison staff and the individual Gant or whatever?
Well, I think we started off at.
I'd be
assuming that
surprised.
he's
I'd be
not
surprised.
a bad person, and now I think
Yeah.
we've reconsidered that position.
He's trash.
think
I'd be
that's a
very
very
surprised if he
accurate
even,
summary.
even has a stat block. I think we just kind of.
Oh, I'm sure he has a stat block, and it's probably complete shit other than high charisma. And he's just not using it.
You think he's got high charisma?
Look at that
Hey.
picture. He's got mutton chops. No.
that gives you +2 charisma
Hey!
right there.
The
One
question
for each
is,
chop.
does he have high wisdom, as in a high wisdom saving throw?
Wait, what are you gonna do?
Only one way to
We have
find
lots
out.
of different options.
Honestly, in my mind, he has not given us a reason to break him out because he's not actually fighting for 10 towns.
Oh, we know who.
And
Only, I don't.
It
think
seems like
anyone
a
had that
pretty high
information.
threshold. Like,
Yeah.
break out of this huge prison.
You can and should totally read his mind, though.
I agree.
In fact, I'm surprised you haven't yet.
How long does it
Well,
last?
I didn't know
for?
the warden was going to be here the whole time, and also,
Do you think the warden cares?
I didn't know if she was going to let us talk to anyone else.
Yeah, it's probably more useful if we get to talk to that Dwergar, but I don't know if we will or not.
So I do want to ask the warden. So I'll kind of like walk over and lean in because he was kind of giving his spiel about like, oh, I thought my friends in the Brotherhood would bail us out.
Yeah.
But when he started talking about, I lean into to Warden. I go, Matra, Warden Marthanas. Do you think we could go through, do you have a log of why everyone here has been imprisoned? The reason for their being sent to, REVEL'S End. And this is not a spell or anything. I'm just asking if she'll let us do it.
Right. She's like, you want access to the records on everyone incarcerated here at REVEL'S End.
We're just looking for a pattern. If we can figure out the smuggling network, or identify a pattern of people with similar, reasons for arrest, or similar circumstances, it might give us a clue to, the network or who else was connected with this guy. So he may have inadvertently, given us a lead on his case.
Out of character.
Yeah.
That's deceptive, right?
I am genuine. I do want to look at those records because if we can find the smugglers, then he knows that they were looking for Chardalyn. He doesn't know the value of that. But if we know the smugglers of 10 towns, then we might have a lead on who. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that your only reason for asking that, though?
I'm asking if she'll let us.
Right.
That didn't answer the question.
I feel like a deception check should be called for, but I want to make sure I have your intent.
I feel like
clear.
you need to make a deception check for Justin.
Technically, Cayleigh's not a part of this conversation. I was playing not same team, so.
I'm really not deceiving her. I am genuinely curious in that information. I am not revealing that I have other ways of accessing it necessarily.
Right, but the reason is what you stated plus unstated information, right?
I don't think I have concealed a motive for accessing the information.
Okay.
Do you think differently?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. I do not think that I am being deceptive about anything other than my own capabilities.
Okay.
How long has Gant been in here? 2 years, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
she says, the warden's like, I wouldn't worry about it. She's like, if searching the records for that sort of information is important, she's like, then I'll make sure that we have people here at the prison do so once we're done meeting here.
Go on, call her stupid.
That's
Call her
you're
underling
right.
stupid.
Man, Leif's got a
Don't you think a
problem with
fresh
her.
set of eyes might, maybe reveal some information that your, normal staff has missed? Familiarity breeds it. Yeah.
Take a persuasion check.
Yep.
Ooh.
She's like, perhaps. She's like, but I think that you can understand the need for security regarding this sort of situation.
I suppose you have your methods.
If only you had a document that would give you the information.
Yeah, but I haven't written anything on
Would
those
the-
documents.
Yeah, would
so
it were
you
so
can't-
simple.
We have a table. I'm sure you have some ink.
Yeah, just hold on real quick.
Yeah, can I have a private room for 5 minutes?
Nehesa's going to be the
Now
one
just
to
let me
introduce the
produce-
psychic paper spell to Forgotten Realm.
There is something that works that way. In any case, All right, Gant. Well, if you really think you've got anything of value to offer out, we'll figure it
He
out.
would have done it by now.
You know.
As far as I'm concerned, this guy's
no,
this
he's
guy's
making a
complete dead
wisdom
end.
saving throw.
Why?
Yeah.
You should. Ooh.
So Nahesa, you cast that. You go through the motions of casting it, but nothing happens. You don't get the same feedback that you would have expected had you cast that elsewhere.
Mhm.
And the warden tenses next to you,
Mhm.
and she grabs Nahesa's shoulder, and
Mhm.
she's like, "That's enough."
Yeah, I figured as much. All right. I'm done here.
Yeah, I think if the Brotherhood, if the Brotherhood knew what he was doing, actually, I'll address him. If the Brotherhood knew what you were doing, they would have tried to get you out if it was that important to their mission. You were on your own. They had no idea, right?
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's true. I came up here. I didn't seek permission, if that's what you're asking." He's like, "I just wanted to make it easier for them. That's all."
It wasn't even an interesting story.
All right. Well, if that's
If-
all you have,
Alright.
I guess we'll
the-
follow up on the leads that you gave us, and if it proves to be useful, we will send a recommendation.
He's like, "If it proves to be useful, fine. He's like, "Great. Then if you all don't die out there on the tundra and come to some end of whatever it is you're doing, then yes." He's like, I would appreciate your words."
I'm glad we're in agreement then.
He stands up, and then the guard steps forward and opens the door and takes him out.
And as once he's like out of earshot and it's just the like 6 of us in the room, Rúna will just say under her breath like, "Yeah, I don't think that was Tissa." she was having her own interrogation that no one else was privy to. Like she has her own thing that she's figuring out.
And then the warden
No,
looks at
definitely
you.
not to say.
Then the warden looks at you all and she's like, "Is there anything else that that Revel's End can do for you?" She's like, "Do you need a night in out of the cold before you leave?"
I mean, that'd be
Um,
useful, but I think we want to speak to somebody else if it's possible.
And she's like, "Oh, I didn't." And she looks at the document again. She's like, "Speaker Shane only indicated a conversation with Gant." She's like, "Who did you have in mind?"
Let
That's
me
the
check
dude
my
thing.
notes.
Yeah.
Sunblight. I got his name. Where did I put it?
Nildar Sunblight.
Nildar, right?
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I transferred it over. Okay.
And she's like, "Nildar, oh, our newest member."
Yeah.
We
She's
don't have
like-
documents for this because the information that we needed from him has come up on our trek from Bryn Shander.
Roll me a
Don't
deception
say-
check.
Oh, fucking Christ.
Not so easy.
I'm trying to survive this conversation. Does that count? No?
I thought I made an intellectual argument, but it was deaf ears.
That's not bad.
She's like, apparently, she's like, Nildar is connected to a larger group. And she goes, and I hope you can understand my desire for keeping conversation with someone like Nildar secure unless specifically asked for by one of the speakers.
I mean, with all due respect, he
Let's-
wouldn't even be here in the first place if it wasn't for us. So I think that earns us
You've-
some special privileges.
Wait, was that true?
We were the
Yeah,
we're
we
the
had
Yeah,
ones that
we
kept
got
him.
him.
that
Yeah,
captured.
we caught him.
Oh, right, okay.
She's like, you've encountered Nildar before.
Encountered him,
Oh, we
got
go
him
way
in
back.
chains. Yep.
She's like,
Oh, I pull
well,
out
that
I
is-
pull out the. I've got his braid. I took one of his braid rings.
That's right.
Nice. Nice.
Leif takes that out.
The payoff.
The warden has been particularly stoic, almost placid this whole time, very calm. But as soon as Leif takes the braid out, she's like, "Ha!" She's like, "He hasn't shut up about that since he got here." She's like, "Okay." She's like, "You can have an audience with Nildar. It'll be quick."
Yes!
She's like, "And I'll be here, but I'll send for him."
Do we
Then
have
she's-
anything new that we're actually going to talk to him about, or just we're going to detect? Oh wait, we can't detect thoughts on him here.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. That's okay. We can chat with him.
Yeah, we can try.
Wait.
Can
But
do
no,
this.
but can we ask her if that's possible? If we can have a room where we can cast detect thoughts on him?
Sounds like she's anti that. Given that she stopped Nahesa from casting a similar spell.
I couldn't.
He-
She
yeah, he
didn't
couldn't.
actually
Yeah,
stop.
she
me.
didn't
I,
stop.
I
No,
think it has to do with the
but-
architecture of the prison.
Probably.
I agree, but she also like her mannerisms made it sound like she was against you doing that morally as well.
Nahesa, you can
I
give me
did
an
not get
arcana.
that. Yeah,
Nahesa,
but-
you can give
okay.
me an arcana check if you want to see if you can figure out why your spell didn't go
Oh
off.
God! All right.
I want to make your skill. Oh, it's a 13. I see.
Bad.
Yeah, the prison has a permanent anti-magic field.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
I'd like to point out that is literally the stupidest defense mechanism you could have for like.
How so? It would prevent most of the ways of escaping.
Yeah, but you would
You
get a bunch
couldn't
of
account
wizards
for
that
it.
would fly over that had turned boulders into pebbles, and then they would just drop them like ball bearings. And as they hit the anti-magic field, they would become boulders again.
After
Okay,
a
and
few
then
more,
what?
After a few more moments, the door opens up again, and you see
Mhm.
the familiar face of one Nildar Sunblight.
I'm like twirling the
Uh,
braid ring on my finger when he comes in.
Before he enters, I just want to briefly like Rúna is standing next to Rixana, and she'll lean in and just quietly say like, "Sis, this place feels real. I like it here."
Oh,
I think you may be the only one who does like it here, but it's good to know.
It's a slod suppression field.
it's a slard Faraday cage.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, I was wondering if anyone who died in the black cabin and was reanimated, if they had the slad, would it still be there?
Well, you didn't die, so I guess we'll find out next time you die. but-
Oh.
Reses them, but like reses the
And
slot.
then next to them
too.
is the slod. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
And I thought the slot deserved a second chance also.
or
It's
better
really not
yet,
fair
in,
to the slod.
Yeah.
in the border ethereal, there's suddenly a slod tadpole specter. Just
Oh, can you
flying
imagine
by
this swarm of tadpoles like following the Cayleigh around? It's like, what is that?
There's
So-
just one fewer
Yeah.
than the number of party members.
So the warden leads in Nildar and sits him down, and as she's bringing him in, she like points in front of his face to Leif, like directing his vision so that he looks over and sees Leif, and he's like, "What? What? That I'm sorry!" And he starts freaking out, and she like grabs him by the shoulders and forces him down into the chair, and she's like, "Okay." She's like, "Nildar, your old friends are here to ask you some questions." She's like, "I'm sure if you play nice, that man might give you your braid back." And he's like, "What? Back? I don't want it back. What? Do you have any idea how long it takes to grow a braid like that?" And she's like, "Okay, all right.
I
Calm down,
I
Nildar."
like discarded the hair as well. It's just the ring. The hair was gross.
And after a moment, he visibly calms and he's looking around. He's like, "All right, fine. What is it?"
I got nothing.
We really just wanted to.
Just
Yeah.
saying hi.
How you
Um,
doing?
yeah, how's it been?
Yeah, I really don't know what the plan is talking to this guy.
Yeah, now that we don't have the tech thoughts, that was my whole plan.
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Your plan is too clever for us, and we just wanted you to know that you win.
We could ask him about these 4 people. These
Uh,
Eladrin
The
Rogue
Arcane
people.
Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we do that, Cayce,
Yeah.
was that? Did you say that in character?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. And he's just
What,
like,
wait, what did you say?
I said his plan was too clever for us, and we couldn't figure it out.
and he's like, he's like, I knew it. I knew you just stumbled upon me just by happenstance. I knew you couldn't figure it out where we were. We hid that fortress too well.
Wait, isn't that where we caught him?
No,
No, he's talking about the fortress that we actually do know the location of. I think.
The one the little tiny one that's built in the side of Kelvin's cairn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone is quaking in fear in Ted Towns when they hear that the Dwargar are coming.
And they should be.
Actually, what actually happened is they was like, there were Dwargar in Icewind Dale? No one
Did you
seemed
say
to be
that?
bothered. We told them to defend themselves, and they were like, meh.
He's like, well, he's like, then they're even more foolish than you. He's like, either way, 10 towns will fall.
all.
I guess so.
We actually do kind of agree. I don't say that out loud, but we actually do kind of agree that they're being pretty foolish.
So,
But-
so the Dwargar are just going to push over all of the houses. That's what you're saying. Okay.
I feel like they need to aim a little higher, like 10 towns falling. Like,
It's like, well, you got to start somewhere, right? He's like, we can't.
I don't.
He's like, Zardarok Sunblight. He's like, he can't claim dominion over the surface world like in the middle of a human kingdom of the south. He's like, but 10 towns is ripe for the picking, and the climate that doesn't bother us at all.
It's
What are you going to do
interesting
about
that given how-
the demigod that's threatening to wipe them all out unless they do ritual sacrifices? Are you
Oh, well, ritual sacrifice. That's nothing that we're afraid of. But Zardarok has a plan for that as well.
What's the plan?
Well, he's no. That you'll have to wait and see when you're under his sovereign reign.
He doesn't have a plan, does he?
He
No, I
has
don't think he
I
has a
cast.
plan.
I declare.
that's
I
what I
cast Stone
heard.
of
No
Truth.
plan.
You cannot lie to us in here. This room is ensorcelled. And he's like, God. I bust out laughing. Stupid
And
plan.
he's like,
Never mind.
is there a reason for this? He's like, I appreciate being out of my cell, but I don't appreciate seeing you all again.
You can't throw a rock in here without without hitting some would-be conqueror of 10 towns, apparently.
Or an idiot?
What makes you think your plan is going to work?
Well, there are elements to it that have not yet been revealed.
Chardolin and
Such as.
What? Well, if I tell you, are you going to get me out of here? I don't think so.
Well, you're not
Yes,
going
we
to go
will.
anywhere no matter what. Oh, okay.
that was the good cop, bad cop at the same time.
You have my word. I'll do everything in my power to get you out.
Roll me a persuasion check.
God.
And he's like, your word in your power. He's like, I'm not falling for that. He's like, I wouldn't believe the people who put me here would do everything they could to get me out.
Well, we're a fickle bunch, to be honest. So your options are either to stay in here for the rest of your life or roll the dice. I know what I would choose.
Actually, I mean, this guy, no one knows he's here.
I'll
The
take
rest
a
of the
persuasion
board-
check from Rixana. Sorry, Justin, you can keep talking. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure I got that I
Yep.
wanted to check.
No one knows that he's. What do you mean? No one knows that he's here?
Well, none of the Dwargar.
Didn't we
know.
arrest 2 of them at once?
Broshka's here as
There's
well.
more than one in here, yeah.
Oh yeah, bro.
Shouldn't be advantage, so it should just be the 19.
And he's like, I never was much for gambling, but you do bring up a good point. Very well. He's like, so when last we met, you presumed that that there was a Dwargar army that was going to march over 10 towns. Well, yeah, there is. But the army is coming after the fact. The army is playing cleanup. No, 10 towns' destruction will come from the skies. The Charlatan is
Flying
being...
dwarves now?
Yeah, well, he's like, last I checked, it didn't suffer our kind on its back, but he's like, the Charlatan is being used. My father, Zardarok Sunblight, future king of Icewind Dale, is using the Charlatan to craft a devastating construct that will soar through the skies of Icewind Dale and rain destruction down on 10 towns.
I
That
just
does
look
sound pretty
at
cool.
I look at I look at Bear to see his reaction, to see if that's even like remotely feasible, because like he would know.
Oh, Bear looks, we'll just say, concerned at this. That is a very real possibility.
Mm.
Now, what this construct is, I know, but Charlatan, since it's a metal, it can be worked like any metal, but it is inherently magical, and it is also inherently evil and kind of sort of demonic.
Does
So,
substance really be evil?
yes, it can.
And it's right.
One of those like Dharma Initiative videos starts to play about how substances can be evil.
Yeah, well, honestly, it sounds like Control. Like,
Yeah.
Charlatan, it will
Yeah.
start talking to you. Don't trust it.
Where's
Just
the
keep it in
Threshold
its room.
Kids episode about Charlatan.
Yeah.
So where's this construct being constructed then?
Well, the only place that can hold such a beast, it's in the fortress, the Sunblight Fortress. My father oversees construction personally. He's like, and trust me, he's
How
like,
much Charlatan do you have?
a lot. He's like,
I mean, it does explain your mental state right now, I guess.
What?
What kind of beast?
He's like, it's one that strikes fear in the hearts of any who see it. Everyone knows of this silhouette in the sky.
God,
they
it's a
know
Stay
to
Puft
fear it.
Marshmallow Man.
It's
Definitely a beholder.
Flying Stay Puft Marshmallow.
he's
Man.
like, in a few weeks' time, you will see the shape of the Charlatan dragon flying over the skies of Icewind Dale, and you too will know true terror.
What are you going to do about the real dragon?
Wait.
What real dragon?
The white dragon.
If there's a dragon flying around Icewind Dale, then it too will bow before our construct.
Rúna, like
I do the "are blessed" face. I like knock my head to the side.
So I kind of want to like lean over the table. Like I snap
Mhm.
to attention all of a sudden, and I lean over the table, and I just like catch his gaze, and Rúna just in like a low, uh, like a voice that you haven't heard her speak in a long time says, "Do not speak to me of fear. You do not know true fear." And her eyes sort of glint. And I don't know if this will work because of the architecture, but I want to use my presence, my Fey presence,
Okay.
to try to make him afraid.
Okay. Is that a wisdom save?
It is a wisdom save, yes.
All right. What's
Of
the
13.
13? Okay. Just a sec. Didn't have his sheet open for whatever reason. I don't know why I didn't think you guys would be.
He doesn't have a sheet. I just got with Rúna like leaning across him. I got flashbacks of that Haribo advert where the child interrogates the adult.
Runa's childlike, but she is adult in,
Oh,
stature.
this is going on.
So, you can tell that. Oh, go
While
ahead.
this is going on, they're already taking this seriously. Oh, I was just gonna say, Bear seems to be taking this very seriously.
Rúna, there's this moment where a shadow of fear passes over Nildar's face, and he does look concerned. He does look scared of whatever it is that Runa's implying.
Mhm.
But after a moment, it passes.
Okay.
And he's like, he's like, oh, he's like, until you see as much Chardolin as I have, focused into a force of pure destruction. He's like, everything else, it's nothing.
So why the delay?
He's
Why
like,
isn't this out right now, wreaking havoc?
why don't you go ask? Constructs take time. They need to be perfected. You have to ensure that it isn't going to fail in its first
But you have
run.
a plan with a date.
So what you're saying is we have enough time to stop it. Thank you.
Well,
And I assume the Chardolin is kept in the fortress as well.
he's like, the Chardolin. He's like, all of it has been put into the dragon. He's like, any that is left, it's probably been claimed by my father.
Sorry, the what? The what now?
The dragon?
Thank you.
You made a dragon.
The Chardolin dragon.
I feel like I said that previously.
Did he though?
No, we're making him question. Yeah, he said the Chardolin dragon. was
Okay,
the
thank you.
reply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty
did.
sure I said the form of a dragon flying over 10 towns.
Like, did I not say that?
Well, against all odds, this guy has been more useful in like 5 minutes than the last guy was in like an hour.
Yeah, you should let him go immediately.
So I turned to the warden. Has he been raving like this the whole time he's been here about this?
She's like, the most I've heard is just about his braid.
Oh,
Does that not make you think
could
that maybe you aren't asking the right questions or looking for the right information?
She's like, perhaps.
Could
She's
you
like,
report
but-
this back to the speakers of 10 Towns
Yes.
immediately?
She's like, of course. She's like, I'm gonna wait to make sure this thing doesn't have anything more to spill.
He is a person.
And she's like,
Debatably,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, that's a little.
It's almost like she's a prison warden or something.
Any other questions we have for this guy? I feel like we got what we wanted, but
what do you
think-
give your odds of escape?
yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, when your
like-
when your dragon flies over and like I'm assuming tears this place to its foundations, surely you'll be dead.
Wouldn't it just stop working if it like flew over this place?
this is also not 10 towns, so
Well, that's
it
true.
wasn't on our map.
It wasn't on
so
our
to
map.
speak.
Which means they're definitely not coming for you.
Yeah, they're
Mhm.
definitely not.
He's like, I have faith that when my father finds that my operation has come to a halt in Kelvin's cairn, that he will
They're not
he
going
will
to
make
Kelvin's
every
cairn either.
effort. Well, I mean, after 10 towns is taken, then they'll be, well, where's Nildar? He was just here. And they'll
Forget-
come.
I got Nildar.
Where's Nildar?
I'm sure that'll be on
Everyone,
top of their
quick, spit
priority
it out.
list.
We gotta find
It's gonna
Nildar.
be like Home Alone. They're gonna.
Nildar!
They're gonna be halfway to 10 towns. Wait.
Yeah. hmm
So does your father answer to anyone, or is he the top of the old Wergar food chain there?
Answer to anyone. He's king. He is future king of Icewind Dale, Zardarok Sunblight. He answers to none but himself.
He has one fortress. I wouldn't call that a king.
Also, like
What?
future king doesn't count, right?
Yeah,
Like
no,
I
it
don't know a
doesn't.
lot about this, but I don't think that counts if you're future king.
True. They don't quite make it into the history books. The whole section on future kings.
Everyone's potentially a future king, right?
Yeah, everyone is a king until they aren't.
Yeah.
really.
This is our group's classic interrogation method where we just start tearing them down psychologically.
It did work apparently the second time.
He sits there for a moment and he looks at all of you, and then he's like, Warden, I'm done here. And she's like, oh.
Fair.
She's like, I'm sorry. Apparently he's finished. She's like,
He's
is that
he's
it?
very testy.
She's like, is that all that you had for him?
See that he gets a nap.
Yeah, he's a little
I think
feisty.
we're good here.
Mhm.
All right, so then she walks over and takes Nildar out of the chair, and he's just huffing away. And as she opens the door, he's like, "You'll all be laughing real hard when that dragon comes flying." And then the door closes, and you hear him just like his voice echoing down the hallway.
He's loud.
And then after another couple minutes, the warden returns, and she's like, "Very well." She's like, "I assume that it's the end of your business here at Revel's End." She's
Yep.
like, "The offer of a night's rest here is still on the table if you want to take it."
What time is it?
You guys got here in the morning, so it's probably still like early afternoon. Like this didn't take that long. So
I would like to
I'm
stay.
a little. You would?
Yeah.
Question.
Whatever
Do
magical
you
waves
have
keep
any
messing with Runa's head.
scraps?
Yeah, I don't think about that, but
Would you say, Josh?
Oh, Josh is looking for scrap to rebuild his bear.
I think I found a delay, so
Josh, if you ask about scrap metal, she's like, she basically says no. That's we use pretty much everything we have. We don't have much in the way of scrap metal around here.
Sorry, bear.
All
There
right.
must be something they don't need.
Yeah, rules and regulations.
Heyo.
all right.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Cayleigh would probably like to leave sooner than later, but if Rúna and Rix and some other people want to stay, we can stay the night. So, but she wants to get moving since now there's a more clear and present danger.
Sure.
I don't
Yeah,
feel
let's-
comfortable not being able to cast spells.
Yeah, we can stay and figure out our next spot.
So, staying or leaving? Sounds like we've got a couple votes both ways.
I mean, Rúna will go along with whatever everyone else decides, but
Is there
It's like-
anywhere in the? Is
Probably
there
like
anywhere?
only the first time she's ever like stated an opinion about what
Sure,
to do
sure.
next. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, we don't want to.
Mhm.
We don't want to put our boot on the neck of that so early.
I mean, that's fine.
Is there? I asked the warden. Is there anywhere in the compound that magic can be used, or is it everywhere?
She's like, there's one spot that is outside of the magical protection. She's like, but it is closed to you.
Pass.
Let me guess. It's your room. I don't say that.
Right.
Is it your room?
She's like, it is
Your-
my office.
Your
yes.
quarters.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So we stay the night or no?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
You and I voted to leave. I don't know what anyone else.
I'm
Well, I
voting to
think-
stay.
I voted
if-
stay.
It seems
Stay.
like
Yeah.
3. Okay,
Okay.
4. Yeah.
4 to 2.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so the warden leads you to I'm not going to take the time to move all the tokens and all that, but she takes you to a separate chamber or a separate set of chambers. You see that there's a hallway with like a short hallway with 10 identical doors all down either side. And when she opens the door to that hallway, she's like, these are the chambers of the Absolution Council. She's like, 7 of them are not present. There's only 3 of them who are here. She's like, you're free to use their rooms for the night.
What is the Absolution Council?
Absolution Council is a council of nobles who basically decide at certain intervals if the sentence of a prisoner should be lifted or if it's been fulfilled, if their stay at Revel's End should come to an early end, or if they should continue their
What's an
their
early
time
end?
here.
Yeah, the way you said that made it sound ominous.
She's like, it's not. She's like, it's parole hearings. That's what it is.
What nobles are here
Let's-
now?
Currently in Revel's End, we have Rebel's End. Oh, that sends a different message.
Rebels. I mean, that's also true for some of these people. Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. All right. She's like, the 3 that are currently here are Counselor Voss Anderton from the city of Neverwinter, Counselor Jill Torbo from Baldur's Gate, and Counselor Kriv Nerixius from Daggerford.
Wow, they made the trip up here.
She's like, every member of the Absolution Council has to spend some time at Revel's End as per their duties. She's like, there's a rotating schedule, but they're also free to come and then also to go if other duties require that of them.
Should we,
When you open, go ahead.
Should we, right? Well, I'll wait until we're in our room.
Sure. Each room is identically furnished with a bed, a desk, a chair, and a wardrobe. So each of you would get your own private room. And there's no common area that isn't also just the hallway, that connects all 10 of these rooms. So
Shit.
Their
Okay.
commissary for the staff.
she's like, the staff all go elsewhere. She's like, if you are in need of a meal, she's like, we will provide.
Thank you.
Do we tell the nobles to take word back that there's going to be a Durgar uprising with a Shardlin dragon?
Are
Or is
you
it-
asking the warden that?
I'm not asking the warden. I'm asking us.
Okay, all right. Yeah, she'll
I-
leave. She'll leave you guys to it. So
I would
We
say
have anything
yes.
worth concealing? Is there any reason that we would keep this information to ourselves?
No.
Nope.
But
I don't think
I'm more
so.
worried about being laughed out of the prison.
I'll do
Well, I
it.
thi-
People often laugh when I talk.
Well, there you go.
Well,
All right, so I guess we just start knocking
the
on doors then.
warden
They
is
must be
the-
in the Wasset, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can see that there are magical sconces next to their doors that are lit, signifying that they're here.
Occupado.
I mean, we can just inform them. We don't have to necessarily role play out the entire dialogue.
Yeah, that's
Plus,
fine.
I don't even know how much they would care, seeing as they're way further south.
They'll
on
probably.
the-
I mean, they'll probably be like, okay.
Yeah, that
Sure.
would be the sense that about you get from them. That one of them, like, it's varying degrees of taking it seriously. You know what I mean? So.
And the ones who do take it seriously, you're probably like, that sounds like an Icewind Dale problem.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless there's anything specific you guys wanted to do during your time at Revel's End, your stay is pretty simple.
Jailbreak!
Sudden random jailbreak.
You are you're pretty much kept to it would be the southeast. When we were looking at the map, it would be the southeast corner of the prison where your rooms are, and then the mess hall is just north of that. So you can go in and out a little bit, but you can't really venture too far.
What
and
is the
obviously
population of the prison?
like the number of staff or the number of prisoners
Total.
total? The staff, you see a lot of, especially guards. Like the most, like when you're out and about, you see mainly guards. And Leif, I would say that after spending some time like in the mess hall and getting an idea for how many you see who are like on duty versus off duty, you get a sense that there's over 70 guards, and roughly about a third of them are on duty at one time. Beyond that, you based on like where you guys are staying in Revel's End, you don't have any way to tell exactly how many prisoners there
I
are.
asked the warden.
Oh, she would tell you. Let me get back to that map here real quick. She would inform you once my map loads. There are
Three prisoners.
3.
there
Can we
are
not
10
meet the third one?
prisoners.
What? 10?
What?
10.
Wow, that's it?
This is what I thought.
This place is enormous for 10 people.
Yep. What is
She's
the
like-
you need 7 to 1
yeah?
staff to prison.
Damn.
Well, also, isn't this this is a prison not just for Icewind Dale, right?
It's
Oh yeah,
up and
like
down
if you talk to
process.
the warden, you definitely get the sense that there are prisoners from all over the realms
So
that
this
are
is
brought
like
here.
the maximum mist security, like
Yeah.
yeah.
This is the
The
Like I
raft.
said, Alcatraz.
the raft. That's the one.
But
Um,
still, damn.
How does that compare to like one of the smaller 10 towns? Because you said a couple of them were like Bumblefuck, right?
They're all bumblefuck.
Well, yeah. I mean in
How does-
size,
I'm sorry, how does-
not necessarily in attitude.
How does what compare to 10 towns?
Well, there's 80 people in
The
the
capacity
prison.
of the prison.
How does that
There's
There's
compare
obviously
to?
something else going on here. Why would you need an entire prison that was anti-magic?
I think it's just because it's.
Yeah,
such
I'm
high
guessing that maybe
security.
they just commandeered a magic fortress somehow and turned it into a prison rather than it was purpose built.
For an exceedingly low priority thing to have a prison at the ass end of the planet.
Yeah. But like, how does that compare? Like, so 80
Does
people.
anyone wanna
What's
sneak
the
out of the
population
room
of
after
like
dark?
Dugan's Hole?
Dugan's Hole has a population of like 100.
Right. So why
We
aren't
probably
they?
don't even have a
What
prison.
what are they doing to the say Oriole here?
Here, if you ask, the warden makes it like there's nothing. Like she's like, we're not making any effort.
What's your opinion of the 10 townspeople sacrificing people?
She's like, I've heard stories. She's like, but we're focused on our work here. She's like, I'm not a fan of it, but that's also outside of my jurisdiction. The
Well,
patented
it might-
disapproving narrowing of the eyes from Dave.
It might be it might be your jurisdiction soon if the people that were ordering these sacrifices end up as residents.
Perhaps. She's like, we have room to spare.
No shit, you have room to spare. You could fucking Airbnb this place and make a fortune, goddammit.
spacious.
Yeah, spacious
It's,
prison-esque
very-
cells.
Spacious prison-esque. Highly defensive against magic.
Sturdy.
All right.
Interesting neighbors.
Yeah.
Like,
Beautiful sea view.
yeah.
Beautiful sea view.
No sacrifices.
Yeah, that's the biggest one right there.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you wanted to do while at Revel's End? Nope.
Is
I
she
want to
gonna
sneak
give
out
us,
after dark and look through the halls, but no one else wants to do that.
I was gonna say I'll wander around as much as they let me, but it sounds like that's not
It's not
very
much. Yeah. It's not much. You guys can go like on your own. You can go
Mhm.
out to the stables. You can go to the mess hall, and you can go like in and amongst your quarters, and that's about it.
Mhm.
Let's
Anything
watch.
beyond that, you need an escort.
Let's watch the Nahesa solo adventure where she sneaks around and steals the Green Destiny broadsword.
I mean, Nahesa, if you want to give me a stealth check.
I mean, Rúna
I think I
come
would
with
only
it.
push my luck so far that like they would be like, hey, you can't go down that corridor
Sure.
without one of us.
Mhm.
And then once that happens, that would be
I'm just
enough.
I'll use a stealth check to determine how long it takes for that to happen.
All right.
Can
So
I-
you're able. Oh, go ahead.
Can I like notice that Nahesa is like skulking about and like follow her?
Sure. I'll take
in
a
that-
stealth. Whoever wants to do
Can
this,
I-
I will take a stealth check from you.
Can I shift into Lynx form, or
I was
does
gonna
the
say
function
like
not
like
allow that?
Nahesa's gonna be like looking for her.
That's fine.
cat.
Okay. So you just like you don't even mention it. You just kind of sneak off, and then like you notice that there's a lynx following you.
Uh-huh.
And the
My
giant
God.
troppy, werebear gets easily caught.
Clunk,
Yeah.
clunk, clunk, clunk.
So yeah, so
Hey, maybe I'm a distraction.
Bear gets stopped pretty quickly.
Mhm.
But Nahesa and Rúna are able. They're further ahead, so they don't get noticed. Nahesa, you are able to get to the hexagonal hallway that goes around where you assume the prison cells are.
Yeah.
And on the points of a compass are where the hallways that go into the center are, and they're open hallways. There's no doorways or anything like that. And when you peer down those hallways towards the center of the prison complex, you can see like a column with windows in it in the middle of this large room. You presume that to be like the base of the tower.
It's a-
That also
Yeah.
serves as like a command center. Sort of thing.
Panopticon, right? Is the name of the prison?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But you also get the sense that there is a lot of guard coverage. Like you can just from peering around the corner and looking down the hallway at that command center, you see a large number of guards that have pretty consistent vision of the main area where all the prisoners are kept. So you're not confident in your ability to go down that hallway to where the prisoners are without being noticed. But beyond that, like you find a door that leads out into a prison yard. You get back to the meeting room where you guys were when you talked with Gant and Nildar. Is there any specific?
That
go ahead.
does the hatch go anywhere?
Yeah, you climb the ladder, but the hatch is locked.
Damn it.
Like you get the sense that it has a yeah, it's locked.
Okay.
You have a sense that it has a lock.
Yeah, you have you push on it and you're like, I'm sensing this is locked.
Okay.
So if
I mean,
there's
odds
anything,
are that any records room would be in that central column, so that doesn't really feel like worth trying to infiltrate.
sure. And then after, as you are coming down from the ladder in that meeting room, Rúna,
Yes.
what sort of noise would you in Lynx form make that would attract the attention of guards?
You start purring.
Well, I mean, there has to be something
This
that's
is
louder
fun.
than what Nahesa's doing. So
Yeah.
I mean, I probably like, I don't know. I probably make some kind of chirping like meow as I'm just trotting through the like enjoying my freedom, I guess.
Just following behind Nessa, and every so often you.
I think I'm probably like trying to get Nahesa's attention.
Oh, sure. Okay, so then as Nahesa's coming down the ladder from that hatch is when a couple of guards are like, what? There's a lynx in here. Dude, look at it. Look. And then they're like, wait a minute. All right, hey, come on. Then they take Nahesa and escort you back to your quarters.
Sure.
There's a lynx in here.
All right, so then the next morning, Oh, go ahead, Bear.
I was just going to say, versus the logical reaction of, fuck, there's a big cat, let's kill it.
I'm not that
I mean,
big.
they
The
outnumber
lynx
the
are that big.
prisoners 7-1. I don't think even the beatings are going to hold their attention anymore.
Okay, so the next morning, the warden sees you guys off. Make sure that you're all set for the road. And then, unless anybody has anything else they want to talk about with the warden, that
I'm
will
going to
be
remind
it.
her that she said she would report to 10 Towns what Nildar said.
She's like, a courier was sent last night.
Oh, okay. I was going to offer our services, but
So you
We're
got.
done delivering letters. All right. We don't have to
You
keep
might be.
delivering letters.
It's like my
Yeah.
calling. How dare
Yeah,
you?
We're just
Stamps,
like,
Stamps has a purpose in life.
Hey, it's not stamps. it's
Legendary
patches.
mail delivery.
Stamps. How dare you?
All right. So from Revel's End, what is your guys' next destination?
If we're
What did
dealing
we
with an
agree on?
aerial superiority thing, I mean, I don't know that we factually know about the Goliaths, the raised griffins, but like that would strategically.
We were told, weren't we?
Cayleigh
I
and
don't
Leif
know.
would have known about that.
You
Yeah,
know
they would
about
have had
that?
knowledge of that. Yep.
I think we originally talked about going back to East Haven, but
Yeah, it is also
I've learned-
completely different from what you asked us if we wanted to have prepared.
Well, we
No,
have
no,
learned,
no. Well,
we have learned
here-
a lot of information since then. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, we're approaching the end of the session because it is an early call night tonight. And B, I just yes, we did talk about it off air, and East Haven and Sunblight did get the most votes out of everybody as far as what you would want to do next. But that
Mhm.
doesn't tell me, are you going to Bremen? Are you traveling straight to East Haven? You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, it's
Mhm.
where you guys want to go. So even though we know that you guys are interested in East Haven and Sunblight,
Let's go to
What-
Tourmaline.
So
Well, I have a bigger
They love
question.
us
Is our ultimate strategy and plan to go and destroy the Charlatan dragon before it gets into the air, or is our plan to rally forces to be able to fight it
I
once
mean,
it attacks?
I think.
no
like,
one
which-
seems
what-
to care about anything that we have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I kind of, my inclination now after what we learned is we try to actually go in and destroy it before it gets in the air. But
I agree.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm also cool with seeing if we can get the dragon to fight the fake dragon.
I do like that as well. I'm thinking of that too.
Ooh,
that can be our plan
Oh,
B.
what if we just tell it we
get
know
in
where
the
there's a
air.
big magic dragon?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, but do we really want the big dragon to encounter a massive Charlatan?
I was gonna say.
I mean, Bear
What,
said-
what is the bad outcome here? That it loses, in which
Oh,
case we have to fight the dragon
Charlatan or
anyways, or that it wins and then it has, it just fought a really big thing.
And then we
I just
coup
don't
de
see a
grace
loss
it when it's on
condition for
5
that.
health, is what you're saying. We kill
my-
Steel
my
from
only-
the.
Yeah, we're gonna third
yeah.
party it.
We kill
Like,
Steel.
yes.
we got this ancient white dragon who is very, I'm gonna say, not dependable because
Yes.
It's
like
senile,
insane.
but that doesn't mean
Yeah.
it can't be directed.
Yeah, but so we say, oh hey, there's this dragon, and then she starts. Is it she? I think it's. Is it a she?
I think so. Yeah.
it technically is a she. That didn't necessarily come up when you guys
Right, yeah.
encountered it, but
But yeah, and there's no way to actually guarantee that it's actually going to go through with what we ask for it to
Yeah,
do.
but what's the worst that happens is it becomes the 7
It
Towns.
kills us on
I'll
sight.
tell you- yeah,
That
I'll
would
tell
be
you
the
that.
worst outcome.
that would be the worst. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess the worst outcome would be they team up.
Yeah, we don't. I
Oh,
kind
like
of feel like our
Giga
plan A is to
Dragon.
destroy it, and our plan B, if things go bad, is sick the other dragon on it. That's
Yeah,
our
okay,
desperation
yeah.
option.
that sounds
like that.
feasible. Yeah.
And I think talking to the Goliaths that raise griffins could be pretty handy too.
Yeah.
So how much time do we have at this point? Like, it's got to be close to the end of the month, meaning we've got 3 weeks left. And this is a
calendar.
10-day trip from
the-
Revel's End to Sky Tower.
We're it's probably gonna be fortified. We're probably gonna need help. Like even if we do a classic like diversion attack on one
Not
side
only
and
that,
we
not only
slip in
that,
the other side.
Sunblight is chapter 3. Are we done grinding?
Yeah, again, Ian's plan is to skip chapter 2 and go right.
In true Rick's fashion. Let's skip to chapter 3. Fine.
Do we have an efficient grinding route that we can take?
They patched that. They patched that.
No.
Yeah,
Exploit.
yeah,
Okay,
they patched the exploit.
I'm still going to argue for East Haven first because we know
I
the
mean-
Duergar are there. We also possibly know that Avarice is there
Do we?
because when we talked to the people at Caer Dineval and when we kicked them out, they basically said they were going to go back to where they were before, which was East Haven.
Forgotten Realms Week is a 10-day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, it's a 10-day. Even I know that.
The other outside possibility is maybe they don't have. It sounds like they don't have enough Shardlin quite yet to finish. So maybe
Yeah,
if
that's
we
my
can
other
interrupt the supply before it gets there, but that's just my assumption. Maybe they do have it enough, and they just need time to build it. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
if we can get there while it's still partially constructed, like the Death Star, that
Mhm.
would be.
Oh,
Before it's
all its
fully
exhaust
operational.
ports will be
Yeah.
exposed.
I'm gonna catch it unawares, and it's gonna be fully not operational at all. Yeah.
Have we
I
been to
mean,
Bremen? We haven't. I
No.
don't
Have not been to
think.
Bremen
We
Yeah.
yeah,
or Targos
or Lonelywood.
or Lonelywood or
I don't want to
Dugan's
piss
Hole
off
or
all of
Divid.
them in one go. I kind of like to spread out my.
Seems like they're just mad by default since we haven't paid them visit. So
Oh yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
right. We
I don't
haven't
think we can
saved.
count-
We didn't save Tourmaline people, right? They were pissed at us.
yeah, we cut off that quest.
There's no chapter 2 this way.
Yeah.
We need at least some XP. I want to be level 5 before we go to chapter 3.
You got the
Wait,
Dark
you getting any
Duchess.
XP from this session?
No.
That's where the dragon is.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
You also
but we look.
and you know what? Traveling if okay. So for chapter 2 points of interest, you have Dark Duchess, you have Cackling Chasm, and you have the Goliath places. But also, I mean, if you travel if you go like this down towards Sky Tower, if that were your destination, who knows what you could come across?
Hypothetically
If we
speaking.
go, the problem is,
Or even if
right,
you were to
Yeah.
go like this,
I
and
mean,
go
there's
the
straight
problem
to-
is
some,
that's
like-
15 days. If we've got 30 days until the attack, the furthest we can go is like East Haven, because then we never get back in time for it to start. Especially if we've got to go on the Sunblight as well.
Sure.
We could wait for them to attack
take
and
that
then
long.
counterattack if we
What
can convince people to actually get ready.
Like it'll take us
Which
22
apparently we
days. It'll
can't.
take us 22 days to go from here straight to East Haven. You said it was 2 miles a day. Now we're on bears, right? Sleds.
No.
You're on sleds. It's a mile. It's a mile an hour. And you travel 8
And you
hours.
travel
a
8
day.
hours a day.
Yeah, we're going way
Yeah,
faster
that's
than
why
you
I was.
Oh,
So
My math is
38
way wrong.
miles. 38 miles to Revel's End. You're not doing a straight shot.
We can jump that canyon. We can jump it.
So 38 divided by 8. It's about 5 days from here to East Haven.
oh,
I'm
okay.
also going to argue for
Okay,
Bear.
that's not too bad then.
And if we go
Yeah,
straight
we-
to Sky Tower, it's 47 plus like 5 is 52 miles. So
About a week.
52.
Divided by 8.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah, 7
Yeah.
days.
I'm just going to
7 days,
say,
not even a
Bear's
week.
sake, there's going to be like no metal. For how long?
Sure.
Unless we get back to the towns.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, we can go to
Oh, wait,
East Haven, see what we see.
Tourmaline's the
supply
mining
up.
place, though.
What if we
Oh,
stopped at the Dwarven Valley? There was metal there,
That-
right?
yeah.
That's
We
true.
could
Love
hit up
us.
the Dwarven Valley on the way to East Haven.
But will that only
or-
make a small bear instead of a large one?
How big of a bear can you? Okay, so if we go to Dwarven, Care,
We collect enough metal. Can you make a bear the size of their dragon,
Oh,
and then have them fight like Scott Pilgrim?
I thought you were going Godzilla.
I don't know, Nick. Will you let me do that?
It depends on what's written under Artificer, man.
Steel
Mecha
kaiju.
Shiva. Mecha Shiva.
Yeah, I don't
Let me
think
get a
it's a
Sharpie
kaiju.
and I'll,
We have the
I'll send it
kaiju
to you.
solution. You guys are
Okay.
moving past it, though.
The
Okay, so
kaiju
what's
solution.
what's your destination from here?
We don't know.
Dwarven
the
Valley.
problem.
Dwarven Valley. Right?
To the Dwarven Valley?
We need to get.
More
Uh,
as a stop though. That's not like our destination.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that will be
this
the
is-
next like you know what I mean.
Scene.
Travel scene, Dwarven Valley. Travel scene,
Sure,
East
and then-
Haven.
Yeah,
and then East Haven, and then from there we could either go to Sky Tower or
Sunblight, depending on
Sunblight
how much
or-
grinding we
Mhm.
get done on the way.
yeah.
Yeah,
I like
If
that. I think that's
urgency
fine.
is getting the bear remade, the largest amount of metal might be, was it kobolds that we're dealing with the Dark Touches?
Yeah.
That was
No,
what
the
the
dark-
dragon said.
Yeah,
The
he
dragon
he
said,
said
"Go
there
to
were
the ship
the
that's frozen in
kobolds,
ice.
yeah.
The kobolds will
Still,
take
yeah,
us.
accept any offerings."
Don't want to piss off that dragon any more than we already are going to when, you know.
Yeah, okay,
when
hear me
Riverdale
out.
falls apart.
What if we do piss it off, but then we lead it back to 10 Towns on the day of the attack?
Yeah, so now there's
You
That
were so
requires
sold on this.
a
This is the
certain
worst
amount of
idea.
That's a very
That
long-term
is the
plan.
I
There-
literally cannot think of anything that would be worse.
There are multiple failure points considering the amount of time.
Remember that time we tried to protect 10 towns from a dragon and instead sent a dragon on 10 towns?
I'm just saying, it worked in Years of War, okay?
No win in that.
I mean, the Dark
Presumably
Duchess is about 2 miles shorter than from here to East Haven.
You shut your face.
There's nothing we want in East
Let's
Haven.
go to
No.
East
Like, that cult
When
seems
is the
entirely
next?
irrelevant.
When is the next sacrifice?
Not for a
Like a
little
month,
while.
Yeah.
It's on the
Yeah.
16th of Marpanoth, and we're right now leaving Revel's End. It's the 24th of the month prior,
Mhm.
so
So
it's like
22 days.
Mhm. So, Dwarven Valley is your next objective.
Sounds
your
Yeah,
like
next
I think so.
destination.
I'm fine with that.
Because
Yeah.
if anything, maybe we can incite some
Middle.
dwarf on dwarf violence.
All right. 22 miles. So that's going to be about 3 days. So then when we reconvene next week, we will do our travel scene from Revel's End to the Dwarven Valley.
We don't have
Um,
a close quarters for the night that we stay. Well, I guess we're staying in independent rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've already
Um,
done your sneaking around.
You guys could have done anything you wanted, but you chose to order
Sure, we
room
wanted to
service and
sleep.
watch hotel TV.
That sounds great.
Yeah, but to be fair, the
Alright,
hotel
well-
is in the middle of a tundra. It's not
Your
like we can
channel
go out and do
sucks.
some sightseeing and take in an opera or something. Jesus Christ.
There's one channel and it's Blizzard.
It's
Yeah.
one Blizzard. It's literally
Thanks-
just
thanks for
streaming
watching.
Guys,
BlizzCon.
yeah, you guys watch the literal Weather Channel.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Sorry, it's a shorter session. We'll be back next week. Next week, it's looking at like that will also be a shorter session, so plan for a 7 to 9:30 as well next week. And then following that, we'll be back to our normal length of gameplay. Yeah, that's it. Thanks. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
How much
Bye.
XP? Bye.
How much XP?